Hey guys, welcome. Happy Halloween Eve. I'm Gio from Smart Home Makers. I've got a little bit of a special dress here. We've got the pumpkin, we've got some of the red and the green going on. But most importantly, we have some awesome guests waiting right here in the lobby, ready to go. So as usual, remember to just drop any questions during this Q&A. We're going to get straight into it. I'm going to put everyone back in the stream. And so we're going to have a really cool chat and hang out today. I hope you can hear me well and you can hear all the guests well. So guys, let's go. Adding everyone in. Boom, all 5 of us. Welcome everyone.
Hi everybody.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey guys, so it's the absolute first time that we have more than 2 people on one of my live streams. I don't know if you guys have been having more, but let's see and let's get the ball on the roll. So should we do like a virtual round table and like everyone just introduce themselves? I'm pretty sure that many people that sort of are looking at this live know sort of everyone, and everyone also has a YouTube channel, so please plug in your channel and latest videos or whatever. So on my right I have Aaron, so I'll pass over to you.
Hey guys, yeah, I'm Aaron. I run the YouTube channel MakeitWork. I just started about, I want to say 6 months ago, doing home assistant videos. So I've been watching a lot of videos from everyone else who's on here. So learning a lot from them. But probably the most popular video I did was a video on making a dashboard for home assistant, like a wall-mounted dashboard. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. All right, Jeff, you're next.
Yep. So I'm Jeff with SlackerLabs, doing videos on Home Assistant, of course. And yeah, I mean, we've been doing a lot of fun stuff over there. We just did a video on creating Jarvis with Home Assistant, which was a lot of fun. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's been good. Hit 5,000 subscribers recently, which is really cool. So
hey,
yep.
Well done.
Congrats.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. BT, you're next.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me. I'm sorry. New headset, old headset and old mic, but I never use them. So, well, actually, let me do a first one, although I did spoil it already. My name is Andre, or Andrew in English. But yeah, due to some other reasons, I had to change the name for the YouTube because, teens don't want to see their dads on the YouTube. So that's why I'm BeardedTinker here. Yeah. I've been doing this for 2 years, just a little bit over 2 years. And I had to check right now what was the most popular video I have. And it's actually, well, Home Assistant on Synology, of course. So I do videos on Home Assistant. I do videos on Synology. I do videos on Home Assistant on Synology. But what I would really like to do more, and I've been doing it lately, and I love it, although not what videos I did on that topic were received well, is DIY stuff. I'm not a tech guy. I'm a sales guy, so I'm just giving you sales pitches. A couple of my projects were really just video editing because they failed miserably. But at least in the video they look good, and I know that you will be more lucky than I was with those projects. So yeah, that's it.
All right, now, and last but not least, Chris from bossychris.
Hi, y'all. I'm Chris from MostlyChris, and I've been doing this about, the start of that thing that we're in now. So about 2 years, roughly. It's interesting how you get into these things. You just basically say, well, all these people that my kids watch are doing this. How hard could it be? I mean, they just walk around and film their kids running around doing weird stuff. So I'm going to film myself doing weird stuff. Anyway, if we're talking about popular videos, surprisingly, and I was looking at this right now because I had to look it up too, the top add-ons and integrations, which is not how to do anything, which is the videos I make, but just what I use is the number one. And then grid cards, which is the dashboard thing, is number two. So people want to know what you're doing. and what you think's fun, and then they want to see how to build dashboards. I think those are the two biggest ones that I've seen. So yeah, that's what I do. It's a lot of fun. I didn't expect to be where I'm at today. I did it as kind of not a joke, but like, hey, I'm just going to do it and see what happens. And it turned out to be something. And now all of us that are creators that feel the pressure to make a video all the time. Now I'm in the boat of, okay, what's my next video? Come on, got to make something.
And that's absolutely true. It just becomes all real at a certain point. You know, you put a few out as a joke, and then you get some traction, and then you have, you know, we have. I think everyone this is a growing space, and I would say to everyone that is watching, I'm thinking I can do better than these guys, and I can do a better automation, or I can do a better dashboard. I would just encourage everyone to just get going and get started, because it is possible to just. I mean, if you enjoy filming, it is a lot of hard work, but if you do enjoy it, you know, there's plenty of space for everyone, I would say. But okay, let's just see who's hanging out in the chat today. I think we've got the Smart Home Collective, which is saying evening, guys, and he's got an awesome podcast. Yes. We're gonna call him the most. I think I'm one of my favorite home assistant podcasts. Only thing they say we don't get enough of it. We're gonna get more of it. So I think we've had several people on the podcast here today, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm waiting for my invite, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. We've got Enrique over here. Yeah, he's saying hi from the Netherlands, and yeah, sure. Well, this will be all recorded anyway, so you can catch up later on.
Oh wait, you didn't say we're going to record this stuff.
Oh yeah, I did my beard. I even put some lotion on it. Can I do sponsor video like this? Yeah, okay.
Yes, I think you can. I think I was also trying to figure out how come we were small, right? Before, while Aaron was talking, I was like, oh, how come we're small? And then I'm like, said, oh yeah, it's this. When I pull out a comment, we sort of squash out because the comment doesn't want to go on top of you, you know, BT. So
I thought it was going to be something about the beard being pushing the whole frame a little bit out.
Pushing the whole frame out, right?
Okay, I have to reposition the camera. Yeah. It's November, so yeah, you know, beards November. So
okay, guys, I know there's a bit of an embargo on next videos coming. Like some people like to share what they've got coming up. Some people want to keep it secret, and that's all cool. But like, who wants to go first with like what's coming up, or anything Halloween specific that's gonna drop soon or has dropped recently?
Can I ask a question first, Enrique? Thank you. That video was really something. I prepared that video for 6 months, waiting for the components and everything. It really took me a long time, and it's really great that you like it. I use it a lot, and finally today it's working how it should work. So I will be doing a real video on this one. Yeah, follow up. I have a question for all the guests. Do you have kids, and how old are they? Because this is related to one of my next videos. I'm not sure if I will make it for the next week.
Awesome. I'll go first. I have one boy and a one to come next year. Early next year.
How old, if I may ask?
Around 4.
4. Okay.
Nearly 4, and then the other one's coming next year.
Who's this creepy guy asking about our kids?
I'm too far away. Don't worry.
He's not too far away from me. Yeah.
That's why I put my Wi-Fi passwords on my videos, because who's going to drive to my house to do that from the Netherlands or from UK or whatever? But yeah, I have a couple. I have a daughter who's 9 and a son who's 6. So yeah, and you know it's interesting. You're gonna bring up what you're talking about, but doing this stuff. And then some of us work full time as well. And then trying to fit the videos in, try to take care of the kids. This morning I was at cheerleading. And then tomorrow we'll be doing, you know, whatever people do on Halloween. So this is like, we cram it in this little space. We have a little bit of time to do this kind of stuff. I could have much better videos if I had all day to make a video.
That's fair enough.
Definitely.
Yeah, I have 4 kids. I got a 6-year-old, 4-year-old, 2-year-old, and almost 1. So, yeah, making videos is like when I get the chance.
You got to shout out to your family. I mean, I feel like I should do this right away. I doubt they're watching because they're not tech people, but just the fact that I'm up here right now and they give us the time to do these things is they deserve a lot of credit for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'd put that out there.
It's a round of applause
really.
from everyone.
And Jeff,
I've got one boy. He's 7 years old, and he's ready to start making YouTube videos. So, I catch him recording videos on his iPad. So,
What's his channel?
yeah.
he doesn't have.
Maybe he has better videos. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Gets more subscribers than you.
He definitely has more grand automation ideas. So his automation ideas are way beyond what I could do at this point. So,
but it's interesting. Like, what's the impact on kids living in a smart home? Because you never think of this. Because for us, it's all new, right? But they would they used to like a robot vacuum and these smart speakers around the house and lights turning on. I'm afraid my son's going to go to someone else's house one day. He's going to figure out he has to turn on the light switch. And people are like, this kid's spoiled, right? He doesn't even turn on the light switch or whatever, right? What do you guys
I think that's a fair question because I think about that too. Like all this technology our kids have these days, like what are they? They've never lived. And here's an example. And I probably talked about this on one of my live streams where we're driving. In fact, that barrel router that some of y'all may have not watched. Yeah, I do a review video every once in a while because people send me free stuff. But anyway, I use those routers. And in the car, you're driving down the highway at highway speed and you're switching from cell site to cell site. Do you expect, do we expect that our Wi-Fi experience in a vehicle is going to be flawless? I don't.
Yes.
I don't. But my kids who don't know any better, holy cow, Roblox is glitching. My gosh. Roblox. Anyway, yeah. So they don't. My son uses that to turn the lights on up here. He won't come upstairs until the light's on. He will yell at that thing 4 or 5 times until the light comes on. So yeah, I think about it every time he does that and what our kids' technology is. They just don't live in a world where they haven't had it. And I'm curious what BT's reason for asking that was. You going to share us a video?
There you go.
I also received, of course, I would say that 50% of stuff I decline and 50% which I consider that are good and can make some kind of content I get. I only had one big flop, which is still in the box. I don't know what to do with it. But I received Arduino kit for kids.
Oh, I'd love to have that.
And
hey, who sent it to you? Because I'm gonna cheap out and ask for it.
I will send you the link. So they sent me the kit, which is awesome. It's a board that can be all the sensors, everything, and there are a lot of sensors. All the sensors that we really use. So you have a light sensor, you have pressure, humidity sensor, temperature sensor, push button, even a small display. Which is everything is tied on one single board, but you can split those sensors out. You can connect them to ESP devices, and then you can have all those sensors hooked up to Home Assistant. And my idea was to film this with my 10-year-old. She never ever programmed using the visual programming tools, so she will not be going into the code because it would be simply too long to go through everything. But through visual tools to see if kids can do those things, and potentially, if I die, who will manage my Home Assistant?
Do you ever worry about that? Like what happens if you have to step away and who's going to take care of it? Like my wife's not going to do it. Like how do you turn the lights on?
Yeah. My wife. Okay, so I'm not 20 anymore. I'm near 50, nearing my 50s. Not yet, but nearing. So we're talking, and I said, "What would happen if I die?" She said, "I will just pull all the things out, throw them away, and use the switches again." So, but it's stupid. But at the end, it's really good question. Did we do something that we can only control, or can other family members manage them? So yeah. That is one of the crazy questions.
For me, I have a manual control for everything. So I'm trying to make sure everything's manually controlled because my mom stayed at her house one time and she was frustrated that she couldn't turn on the lamps anyway but with her voice. And so I made sure there's some sort of scene controller now. But
what do you use for a scene controller?
I use For that one, I actually use a Inner Red series on off. So then I just have like a double tap to do the lights. It's like a mother-daughter, the mother-daughter lamp. So I have for like the mother part, the top part, I do double tap, then triple for the lower ones. Which, I mean, my wife should be fine with no more than 3 taps. So
I always find it interesting on those kind of controllers. Like I have a couple of those, and I've done some videos, but I don't know what to do with the controller itself because there's like 6 buttons on it.
Oh yeah.
So how do you? I can't remember like which one of these things does that. And if you, I don't. And also, I want to do things like I want a single button alarm arming thing. I want to be able to push the button, or at least a double tap. But you know who's going to go push that? Not my wife, my kids, or the in-laws, or someone's going to walk up and they're going to like just double. You double tap it, not on purpose. Oh crap! Here comes the alarm. It's going. You can't. How do you deal with that? Right? You almost need like a dashboard on the wall, like an old tablet, to be able to really show people how to control that stuff. Yeah. And you're right. I do the same thing. All my lights are manual, unless they're all manual. Even the alarm system's manual if you have to. So,
we've got a suggestion here. You can give the in-law an Akara cube.
Have you all used that thing?
I have to be honest. I bought it, I think, 3 years ago, and I programmed everything on it, and it's sitting on my a living room table. And the problem is that I deactivated all but one functionality, and that functionality is shake. And that shake turns off the light here on the upper floor. Mm-hmm. And of course, everybody's putting Alexa on the table. Everybody is kicking the table. So the light never works. And nobody knows if somebody manually disconnected the light bulb, what happened. I have to debug everything. Oh yeah, Akara cub. Yeah. We are not using that. I have to remove it.
Yeah, you can also do pranks, right?
Yeah,
no one would expect the cube. Like when Enrique suggesting you turn the cube and something crazy happens.
I think my kids will go crazy with that. They'll burn a light out or something. They'll burn something that's controlled by it out.
I would probably burn that one.
I actually got a labeling machine, which was supposed to be part of one of my videos, which then fell in the to-do list. And the point of the labeling machine was to label these buttons so that you could know what a button was. So if you get like a 4-gang, and then I don't know, one button is robo vacuum, another button is TV, another button is, I don't know, dinner's ready, and you have these scenes or automations triggered for them. We sort of need to label them because no one's going to know, right? You have 4 blank buttons, what they do. So
do you think you would get away with the decor?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not too sure about how it's going to look. Like you need, or maybe I don't know. But
but is that a smart home problem? Because I had that same problem.
The decor.
No, not decor. The labeling of the switches. Because in my 3 switch gang boxes, I never remember which one does what either, and so I'm always just over there flipping switches for the manual one. So,
have you seen maybe my video about the DIY Zigbee switch? So this one is 20 version. So you have 20 buttons, and each button can have 8 functions. Just think of horror you can make with this. You give it to somebody, say, okay, go ahead, change the light. You will never find the light.
I think there's movies about that kind of stuff.
Torture movies, yeah.
Torture movie. But it's Halloween movies, right? So that would be quite...
You get 3 chances, and if you push the wrong button, you explode or something happens.
Yeah. It locks out the TV for the 24 hours.
Oh, that's harsh.
Oh no,
that's a bad punishment.
Turns off YouTube for that long.
Right. Yeah.
My kids would melt into a puddle on the floor.
Disable the Wi-Fi,
That's right. Yeah.
I will say I watch my fair share of YouTube videos, so I would probably punish myself if I did something like that.
That's true.
Do you guys spend a lot of time watching other smart home or home assistant YouTubers, or you're just bored? You've had enough with it and you watch other stuff? What's your take on it? For me, I am a bit of a both. Some days I'm watching all the videos, mostly that you guys do, obviously. But I have two profiles. So for anyone that doesn't have YouTube, that doesn't know that you have your own Google account, and then you have the one that you use with the brand, so like Smart Home Makers or whatever the other brands, right? And so on that one, I'm subscribed to everyone in the niche, and then my other one is my personal one, which was stuff that I had before, right? How do you guys like organize that? Because it moves so fast, you sort of need to keep up to date with what happens, right? And also it's good. I don't know. It's good to check out what all your colleagues are doing. I don't know. What do you guys do?
I'm kind of weird about that because I don't want to see how somebody made a better video than me. So sometimes I'm like, if I will look at it, it's just my stuff's gonna be so bad. I don't want to be reminded how terrible it is, or that, oh man, I should have made a video. Oh, look at me, I'm blurry. I made a video on it. What the heck? I made a video on that, or I should have made a video on that. Darn it, I didn't make it on time or whatever. I watch a lot of camping, like outdoor with no sound, especially when I'm working, because I like just the sound effects of like, there's like, what's his name? Kent Survival. Just goes out and camps and cooks stuff. I mean, there's nothing more relaxing than sitting out at a campfire and cooking some stuff and eating it and just listening to the fire crackle.
Oh, that's nice. I gotta note it down then. What is this called? What's the channel?
That's actually my next video.
Kent Survival. What's that?
It's my next video.
And there's a number of them out there now. There's one mantra I say now, that there is not anything that you can possibly fathom that is not a YouTube video somewhere. Yeah. Period.
One of my favorite YouTubers lately, and I'm pretty ashamed of that, is a guy cleaning culverts.
The pipe guy or whatever, one that cleans the drains.
Yeah. No, not the pipe guy. Not the pipe guy. This one is just going on the culverts. Big culverts, 3 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet culverts, whatever. And here is clearing debris from culverts, and the water starts flowing. And
I've seen that.
And you just sit there, and when the water doesn't go, then it starts to roll down the tube. It's so calming. After watching Paul Hilbert fight with the I don't know what, that water going down the pipe is just relaxing. So I've been watching guy cleaning culverts. Okay. But I do watch a lot of I watch all of you. I watch a couple more. Let's say at least 10 people from the same technology niche we are covering. Some are working on Home Assistant, others are not, but smart home related stuff. I watch also Minecraft videos just from one server. I like Minecraft. I used to play Minecraft, but no free time, unfortunately. But I do have paid server, which I pay every month and nobody is logging in, which is rather great investment. And lately, I've been starting to build this big boy. You can just see part of it, and this is the new 3D printer. So I'm watching a lot of stuff that is related to specific topic of this. Let me just try to lift it.
Is it an excuse to use my solo view?
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Monster.
Yeah, it's really monster. But so I'm watching a lot of videos related to that, specific. You do wires and how to check wires, what to do with wires, what types of wires, everything. Even if in smart home niche, when you go after a detail, you can find, okay, let's talk about motion sensors. Then you go, let's talk about Xiaomi motion sensors. Then let's talk about Xiaomi motion sensors in relation to something. You can go very, very deep in every direction you go. And it can sometimes be really a time drain, just time goes down the drain. You spend a couple of hours watching and like your head explodes. But I do consume a lot of content. On the other hand, my kids are 16, 17 almost, and 10. This teen I don't see anymore. She's out. I know that her boyfriend is my follower on the YouTube, so that's funny.
Nice.
I never thought that
That's
I
good.
would.
It has to
I
be
would-
right like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
You don't give your permission if not.
Of course,
Subscribe to my channel.
Are you subscribed?
Are you subscribed?
Have you
If
watched my
yes,
latest video about Zigbee?
I do
There'll be a
exams.
quiz.
Yeah. No, he's a great guy. But so things change. When I talk with my colleagues who have just started the families, got babies, they can do less stuff that I can do. I know that my father he's retired and he has a lot more free time than I do. I still have to work and do other stuff that not just record videos. And by the way, recording videos is, I would say, 20% really of the time that goes into final product. Editing,
Yes.
preparing, and everything takes much longer.
Even just reviewing, right? So let's say someone sends you this product. How long do you think we should stay on the product, right? Because sometimes you're like a month, a week, but then you're not sure, either because it's relevant now, so you have some sort of pressure because other people are publishing videos about it and it's what is getting views. Probably in 2 weeks' time, people are going to forget about it. So it's like you don't have them for that long, right? These review units. Does that work for you guys also?
For example, Aaron did video on the Respad. I got my Respad in a box now for at least 2 weeks. I don't have free Raspberry Pis, and of course, because of the shortage of Raspberry Pi 4s, I had to order one and wait for one. So that video will probably not be out in next 3-4 weeks. No way. On the other hand, I will be receiving one product that is completely non-related to smart home. It's related to the 3D printing in about 10 days, and I don't have time to put it in a schedule. I will try to do it. I will try to do the video because I know they will be releasing a new product out. It's not typical for my channel to do anything 3D related, but when I started, I really wanted to have more 3D printing incorporated in smart home because I think that 3D printing can be really related to stuff we do. And unfortunately, when I was looking at the statistics of video views, 3D printing was just so low that I decided not to put that much time into that.
Yeah.
It seems like most creators I see have a 3D printer somewhere in their stuff. I mean, it's just, I thought it was part of the arsenal. I don't have one because I have nowhere to put it.
I don't have one.
But I thought, it's a requirement at some point. When I hit X number of subscribers, I need to have a 3D printer in the background. I think that's the way it's supposed to go.
Yeah. This will be my second, but I promised my wife as soon as I finish this one, the other one will go. So that's my obligation.
I do that with a coffee maker.
Yeah, coffee maker is good. Coffee maker is good. Is it smart?
No, but it's a different. On one of them I can only buy it online. The coffee, you might know the brand, and the other one I can buy at Walmart or the local box store or whatever. And whenever I can't get them because of shipping issues, I got to go get the other one from storage and bring it out. Now I have 2 on the counter, and I promise as soon as I run out of the ones that I just bought at Walmart, I'll put that one back away and get the new ones out again. So that's what I do with coffee makers. That's not smart home related. I don't have any. I mean, I could probably do something smart home with it. It has Bluetooth in it.
Everything is better with Bluetooth. So
Yeah.
There's a way. There's always a way.
There's always a way.
Put an ESP board inside that thing.
Okay, guys, got a question. What was the most frustrating? And BT, if you had something else to say, go ahead.
No.
But what was the most frustrating integration or thing that you're trying to do with Home Assistant that you just drove you crazy, and you were about to throw the device out the window?
Nest, 100% Nest. That was the worst.
That's where my channel took off, though, was Nest. Thank you very much. The Nest integration. That's when it really. I mean, but that was so hard. And here's the thing about us that make these videos. We don't make a video and walk away. If you're any kind of channel, you can't just make the video and walk away. You make the video and then you do tech support for the next 6 months on the same thing. which is great, right? We're building our communities, right? But it is a thing. I get questions on videos I made a year ago. Yep. I'm like, can you remind me what I said? Because I don't have any idea what I was talking about.
I have to go and watch videos that are over 2 years old because I have a question in regard to that video.
Yeah.
I mean, I had one recently, not kind of got off your question, but I had one recently that asked a question and they were like, I went to look at your code and it's different than what's in the video. And I'm like, well, yeah, because my system's changed and it's like a production system. It's constantly changing.
Yeah.
That was like, do I need to start putting this code somewhere and just leave it for the video?
Yeah, that's a question. And Gio, on your list of questions, maybe add this. Like, do y'all keep do you keep a repository somewhere for code to show people, or do you just like use Pastebin like I've been doing and just hopefully it sticks around for a while? But after add that to your question list.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah, go for it.
I'm on GitHub.
Yeah, mine's on GitHub too. So whatever's on GitHub, well, it depends on when I sync it, which isn't very regular anymore.
Oh,
but
let me do it right now.
Yeah, but do y'all do code like do you do the sync where you sync your actual Home Assistant configs to GitHub without the secrets file or something?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
maybe I should go back to doing that again.
Fake secrets file because I was using Travis previously, and since they changed the pricing model, I went to GitHub Workflow, whatever it is called. They have to have fake secrets file that could match the pattern or whatever. It would fail. The auto checks will fail. But I also what I did is that's a good question because we have all probably at least two systems. One is our main home system, which is please don't touch it, it's working, and don't play with it. And the other one is for recording, testing, and things like that. I actually for some time did two GitHub repositories with my main setup and my recording setup. At the end, I said, okay, I will not be syncing recording setup because it changes every week. I do deletes. Yeah. I do massive stuff there. So I decided not to pursue recording setup. My main setup is really there, and I try to keep it up to date.
Yeah, make a note. That's a note I need to make for myself. Because I need to, I get these questions, and then here's the thing that just occurred with Frigate is, and I know this is how my live streams go too. I've started talking about one thing, I'm off on some other tangent, but with Frigate, I made the first video. I made a series of videos, and then I made version 0.9 video, which now makes the configuration I did in the first version of the videos wrong. Absolutely. Because it won't work right. So we have that situation where it's always, I don't know how y'all go back and address those old videos, or do you ever clean them up and say, look, this doesn't work anymore because they change it so much?
I did, for example, for the Synology. So when I started with the Docker. Then the Frederique came out with the package that was hacked version of Home Assistant OS. So I did that. Then I did whatever. So I did 5 or 6 videos related to the same topic, which at the time worked, but 6 months later or 1 year later didn't work anymore. So what I do usually, I change the thumbnail of that video to obsolete or whatever, something to show that this video is no more up to date. On the first line of the description, I put check this link for latest, and also in the cards section, I add card direct link to the new video. It's really hard to keep up. It's really hard.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
It is. It is.
I never thought about the new cards thing. So you can go back to the videos and edit those and put different cards in them.
Yeah,
that's the best.
That's a good idea.
It pops up the moment the people open the video. It pops up. The new card says updated video or something like that. So it's yeah.
Oh, one other follow-up question, and I know maybe I shouldn't ask these questions because these are like creator questions. We don't get to our audience and answer their questions, but how do y'all manage your YouTube comments? And I bring this up because I know there are people watching this stream or whatever, or like, hey, so-and-so never responded. Well, that gets buried like 50 comments down below. You got to scroll. I try to do this once every few days, and I scroll through, and if I don't have a thumbs up or a comment with my name on it at the end of that block of comments, I'll do something. But you got to keep going and going and going. How do you manage that stuff?
I think one thing to note for everyone that hasn't got a channel, so at least my understanding is you get notified when someone comments on your comment, but then if they reply but they don't tag you, you don't get a notification or like an email or whatever, right? And then so you never pick up the reply unless you go and check it out yourself. Is that right? Is that my understanding right?
And you cannot tag everybody.
Yeah.
So that's also the problem. That's also the problem. I try to keep up with the comments and try to reply, but I'm having the other issue currently is that adult content advertisements pop up and they manage to go through the filters while the regular comments get deleted. So I had a couple of there is you can follow that on Twitter. There is really a ton of creators are tagging YouTube and YouTube didn't respond as far as I know to nobody. Legitimate comments disappear. So you get really good question. A lot of them. Yeah. I would say at least 20-30%. So you see in the mail or in the notification, you see first line of text or whatever. When you click on it, it just said comment not available. It can happen if the comment was deleted by the author. But unfortunately, since I was chatting with or talking with a couple of guys in the other comments to other videos, I replied there and they went and checked, tried to reply on that video again, and the comment was again deleted. So nobody knows why those comments end up deleted. And I feel really bad.
People get like, I don't know,
so
blacklisted by YouTube.
The thing is, it's not even like they put a link in the comment because it's happened to me. I commented on one of Mark's videos.
Matt,
and it just
you mean Matt?
Matt, yeah, Matt.
Matt, okay.
And then so I commented on one of his videos and it got deleted. And it's like, okay. I actually commented again. I think it got deleted twice. And the third time it didn't. And so I put into this that YouTube has like a, you could report the incidents. And there's tons. There's got to be like, I think 600 reported incidents. And the last update was from July saying, we're looking into it. And it's like, okay, well, I don't get that many comments. Maybe you guys do, but I don't get that many comments. I want to answer every single one of them if I can. And it's like, someone needs help. Their comment gets deleted. They think I deleted it. I mean,
yeah, that happened. In fact, that happened to me just the other day. Someone thought I was a fanboy. Whatever the comment was, they said, "Oh, I thought you were just a fanboy and didn't want to hear any negative comments. So you deleted my comments." And I said, "No, that wasn't me. I didn't do anything with that." So I guess it has happened to me as well. I try to get people to either, if they really, I mean, here's the double-edged sword with all this stuff. You have to have the comments to get the algorithm to promote your video because it becomes active. There's activity there. I would rather just everyone go to Discord and talk to me there because it's so much easier to keep up with. But then I lose the whole the algorithm stuff where it says, okay, this video is popular because people are talking about it. It just that part of YouTube creation just drives me nuts. It's having to cater to that stuff when it's a terrible interface to do it with to begin with.
Yeah, as soon as people start wanting to know what your YAML is, can you send me? It's like, all right. We have to
I say, else. No, I need a code block in Discord.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. Got a question. It's a bit of a lengthy one, but I'm going to pull it up. It is from Twitch, as we are streaming on Twitch also. I don't know if you guys knew about this, but anyway, I've told you.
Too late now.
After 42 minutes.
Well, I can't be here now.
Brody's saying, what is one thing that you guys think should be in Home Assistant UI but isn't yet? And he's giving an example of a thermostat scheduling system that is there as part of Hanks, but not as part of the core integration. What do you guys think? Who wants to go first?
It has so much. I wonder if they're asking natively in because these are not hacks, right? I mean, there's so much stuff in hacks you can do.
Can you see the comment in the comments? Or do you want me to put it up again?
No, I see it. He references hacks here, right? Or he or she or whoever. I know about the hacks card. HA supports a lot of thermostats, but you can't schedule them natively. And I guess when he means that, like maybe he's talking about core HA or something, or she or he.
But this is a really good example. If you look at the plain thermostat inside Home Assistant to compare it to the HCS has a better one. I would really want for HCS as a shop or place to become part of the Home Assistant. The components themselves do not have to be completely Home Assistant compliant as they are now, but the HACS to be part as a platform, as a standard, as whatever, and to be some kind of a sandbox before components get pushed into the main Home Assistant, because there are really a lot of Home Assistant HACS components that are great and that should be included inside Home Assistant. One additional thing that I'm frustrated, because that's my problem, but I'm frustrated, is something that they mentioned that they will add to Home Assistant: the ability to edit automations that are in the YAML files as part of the standard automations from Home Assistant. I know that you can have two types of automations, one that are handled by the YAML editor and the one that is handled by the Home Assistant, but to be able to edit those that are in a YAML, that would be great. I know that it's not simple, because that can be one single file, multiple files, blah, 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 but that's something that I would like to be able to do.
Cool.
I mean, for me, I think it's like, it would be pretty massive. It'd be anything that's a built-in integration. I mean, you know, things like the workday sensor and the times of day sensor. You can't build that in the UI. You have to do that in the YAML, and that's a built-in integration. It seems like that should be something you can do from the UI. It's like that, but outside of that, yeah, it would be like UI editing of scripts and automations that are not in those two files, because mine are everywhere. And, you know, to this kind of, this is kind of off topic, but it's trying to balance doing videos that can appeal to people that are advanced and then beginners who need the UI, right?
Yeah.
So, like, there's a lot of times that my automations were all written in YAML, and then I have to move them to the automations file so I could show them in the UI. And it's like, this is how you would build this in the UI, because otherwise you can't do that. So then I end up with like duplicate automations everywhere, and it gets messy.
I've stopped doing that. I've started doing, for the recording videos, I think mostly there are some exemptions, because not everything can be done that easily through the UI. But for most of stuff, I do the automations in the UI and then click on the YAML code just to show the people that want to do in YAML how it's done in YAML.
Yeah.
But for most of the automations, I try to go through the automation, and I myself never use it. I mean, this is for recording only.
Yeah,
I never use it.
Yeah, I never use the UI either.
I think I've done that same thing too. Just showing, I build it and then I show the YAML stuff. There's some of those automations where you actually have to go to the YAML to add an extra couple pieces.
Yeah.
The blueprint notification for Frigate, I had to modify the blueprint in the blueprint file. That was a fun thing to dig through, because it was giving me, it was notifying me outside of the zone. I don't know if y'all mess with Frigate at all, but if you create a zone, you should be able to set up to get notifications only within the zone. And I ended up getting notifications everywhere. And so I had to go figure out that there was a couple of brackets that considered it part of the thing. It counts if it's greater than 0, give me a notification. And those brackets were in there. And I had to get rid of the brackets or set it to 1 or something. But that wasn't an answer to the question. Just showing YAML on top of doing the UI stuff. I don't think, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can do in Home Assistant that is strictly by the UI. But if you really want to tweak the way you want it to work, you're going to have to play it with a little bit of YAML. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's not scary YAML. You're not writing a Python program. You're writing a configuration file. YAML is a configuration file.
Yep.
You're not. That's all you're doing, is doing that kind of stuff. So,
if I can do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Pretty much what Jeff just said. Well, I'm pretty new, so I pretty much mostly use the UI, unless I have to go outside it, which is like the opposite of you guys. But
yes, good.
I'm like UI, strictly UI, unless I have to go outside. And for me, that's just, I mean, I don't have like a programming background. So that is, I mean, I've done programming, but I like to just stay inside UI if I can. If I have to go outside, sure, let's look at the YAML and do it. But I think for all my videos, it's the same thing. I like to just show the UI. If it can't be done in the UI, then yeah, you can show outside. But I feel like, I mean, like I mentioned, I think before the stream, that my brother I just got him set up with Home Assistant. I think he's watching right now. But
he made some comment about you being around here.
Yeah. So
drop a comment. Drop a comment.
I want everything. If I'm showing him stuff, like he wants everything UI. right? So if only experience that someone has is like the Google's automations, like Google Home. How can we, the basics ought to at least be in the UI, which it seems like they are pretty much now. It could be a little bit cleaner, I think, but
you should have, yeah. And I think those of us that have been on Home Assistant for a while and have gone through the iterations of this stuff, the UI you see today is like the best thing they've done. It just everything was YAML, everything was straight config files, and even before HACS, you had to go download the stuff and put it in a directory, and then go in and reference it in another config file. I mean, it's come such a long way since that, and so those people that are getting on it now, that are playing with it, can do a lot of that stuff that and the basics through the UI now, and that's what I think they're going for.
Yeah, and I think when I first looked at Home Assistant, I got scared away because it was so complicated. And one of the things was, I don't know if anyone recognizes this, but I don't know if you heard of Me Light or Limitless LED. So that was like when I first got into lighting, I was like, oh, these are awesome. And I buy a bunch of these on AliExpress, and then it's like, oh wait, I can't integrate this with Google or with Amazon. I'm like, ugh. And then I look online, I'm like, oh, there is Home Assistant. And then I watched the hookups video on how to install Home Assistant. I just bailed. I'm like, this is too complicated. But then, now with Home Assistant Blue and then obviously Amber coming out, I think this changes a lot of things. I mean, it's still a more DIY system, but
we're gonna touch on the Amber towards.
It's changed everything, I think.
I want to get you guys' opinion on that. But I think we do have a question, so maybe we just drop the question. We have one from the Smart Home Collective. Have any of you considered building your own Home Assistant integration for specific smart device you have, if you've not already done so? And I just call it a question.
If I haven't considered it until recently, because everything I've messed with, I'm showing how to use the integrations that are already existing. But something like, and if you haven't watched my previous video, go check that out right now. Anyway, the Emporia View, that energy monitoring thing that I put in my electrical panel. Apparently, there's an ESP board in there, and right now I don't know how they do this. I don't know how they do this from a business perspective, but right now that thing will update once per second to their. I guess they store it on their site, and they give you a breakdown on the number of sensors you have and how much bandwidth you use. It's like 30 meg a day outbound bandwidth. And so they're dumping that at a rate of 1 second or one measurement per second to their system. And then I can watch it on the app, which means I'm pulling it from their system. And so you have this continuous feed. And how many Emporias are out there? I don't know. But can you imagine being a business and sucking in 1 second resolution measurements from 1 million homes across the world or whatever? It's crazy, right? But that one, it bothers me because I think, okay, well, are they going to shut it off? They figure out this business model isn't working. We can't keep up with all this stuff coming in. Either slow it down immensely so it's once a minute updates or something crazy like that, or just shut it off entirely. And I don't know how the integration works between Home Assistant and the View. I know it works. It works great. I did a video on it. But, what is it doing how's it getting it from the API? Because their website says API is coming at some point, but somehow this person reverse engineered it and I'm able to get into it. But I want to make that a local integration. And I think that's true of any cloud-based stuff. If we're talking about, do I want to make something specific? I want it to be something where I can pull that data directly from my box in the garage to my server in my house. I don't want to go out and back in with that. So that would be one that I would be interested in figuring out. And I've had some comments from people saying they would like to see that too. I'm just waiting for someone else to figure it out first. But, those kinds of things where we're sending data at such a high rate to the cloud. How do we get that local and do that kind of stuff?
That's a good point.
I did try to do one integration. It was those Hygro boards. And Pers, he's my channel member. He's the author of the firmware at the end for the Hygro boards. He went in one direction. I tried to go in the other direction. It was at the end very complicated to get his C# programmer. I'm no programmer, and this requires Python. So for both of us, it was very hard to go that way. So we decided to go the other way, the easier way, and this was the MQTT and the Arduino. I'm currently fighting to do same firmware on the EspHOME. I have all my sensors now converted, and all the hydro boards are working through the EspHOME because I'm missing the over-the-air updates for the Arduino. Each time I would have to flash the new firmware, and this is why I was not updating my board. I required to plug it out, to connect it to computer, to calibrate it once again, to upload the firmware, whatever. So I really would love to be able to do Python, but I can read it. When I said I can read it, I can look at the code, see the logic, know what's the behind that. Like understanding some foreign language where you know every 10th word. You can make some rough estimates of what's going on, but you cannot engage in a conversation or stand in court. It just simply doesn't go. So that's something that I'm missing on my behalf, and that's why probably I will never do anything. The first integration I did try to do something about was Xiaomi Mi electric scooter, or whatever it's called, and I got slapped so much in the community forum that I decided, forget it. Yeah, it was like I wanted, which is stupid. This one has, I don't know what it has, Bluetooth board. It communicates with the Xiaomi app. It's sending information about the current battery level, temperature, kilometers ridden, whatever. So it has a lot of things that are communicated between the scooter and the mobile phone. There are already some third-party apps that pull that data. And I said it would be great to, come home, get in range of the ESP board, pull that data in Home Assistant and see, my scooter has to charge. I went so many miles today and things like that. But yeah, I just got tack, and I decided, okay, forget it. Yeah.
Jeff,
forums can be sometimes really, really harsh.
They're very harsh. And I think especially if they're very technical.
Yeah.
I agree.
Have you all had comments on how do you do things in your demonstrations on from people saying, this is a better way to do it, or why didn't you do this or that or something else?
Yeah,
I've been pretty surprised. It's been fairly benign. I mean, there's been a few comments, and even the ones that I made a promise to myself when I started this: if someone bashes me on something, I will take it as constructive feedback, and I'll just do it. And I think that's how you build a community, shut it down, right? They start trying to troll you or tell you you did it wrong. I'm like, okay, thanks. I'll do better next time or whatever, and move on with it, right? So, but it's been surprisingly. I mean, the Home Assistant community as a whole has been really good. I haven't had a lot of stuff. I haven't tried to write anything. I know those forums because I work in tech. Those people have no. They're going to tell you what they feel flat out. Yep. Home Assistant's been pretty good.
It is. I think I had only couple of which one or two were really constructive criticism. For example, one thing that I will probably never forget, and it was really great suggestion, is can you just put the lower of your intro a bit lower?
Oh, I had that same one. Your music's too loud.
Yeah, just and every time I do video, first thing I do is lower the volume of the intro, lower the volume of the. But it's great. It's constructive. They did spend time writing the comments and make a suggestion that is not you suck or something like that.
You know what I've been surprised about? Not surprised, but what I find interesting too is people will direct message me. Uh-oh, that didn't look good.
We lost him.
We can.
They'll tell me I left some sort of security hole, like my password, and I spend most of my time, and when I have to use my production system, sometimes I do this. A lot of times, I will have to blur out stuff, and then I'll do it frame by frame. And every once in a while, for whatever reason, I don't get the blur mark right over the next frame. Someone smart enough or eagle-eyed looks at them like, and at 9 minutes and 43.8 seconds, your password popped up for half a second. I'm like, oh, and it makes my blood run cold a little bit when I see that comment, and I'm like, oh boy, what did I just open myself up to?
Yeah, I had a couple of. I'm in my videos when I do videos, I try to fake my location, but but also to be somewhere around, like puzzles. It's very close to where I am in terms of mile or two, but it's not exactly where I am. And I had a lot of people, leaving me private comments, sending me mails. Okay, listen, you posted yeah, I know. It was easier at the end to fake my location than to blur it every time. And there are a couple of things that I was really hiding before, which I don't care anymore. I try to not post, APIs, URLs, public URLs, and things like that. But everything else, I said, yeah.
I've caught myself too doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I filmed the whole video with, instead of doing the 172 address, I did my public duck DNS address. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I did streams with that, and I'm sorry because I at the end had to pull the whole streams, whole 2 and something hours.
You just don't change your DNS entry to something else and be done with it?
Yeah, I know. I said to myself that I will be doing the Cloudflare. Cloudflare, yeah, Cloud.
Yeah, there's a new thing out there for that. Yeah. Or you say Cloudflare for DNS?
DNS, yeah. So I can have fake public domains that point to the fake IP addresses, but when I need, I can resolve them to my own system. So, for example, during recording, I can use that fake IP and fake DNS name, and it will be working. And I just switch it off, and it doesn't work anymore. Or I just point it to my website, so you can switch it left or right.
So, oh man, that's nice. I do have a duck DNS where you can create like a demo.duckdns.org and then shut it down in DNS later, or point it to 127.0.0.1. There'd be like, why does this keep coming back to my local computer? Yeah. We talked about a lot of stuff, Gio. It was weird. You totally zapped out, like you got electrocuted.
I don't know what happened. Maybe it was some sort of automation at 10 o'clock.
It was a Halloween special effect. That's what it was.
It just vanished, and I couldn't. And I got no way. I don't know. I could still hear everything and see the chat, but the camera just died. I had to can't go back out.
Yeah. Speaking of faking locations, one of the videos I did where it showed my latitude and longitude, right? So I changed them. I took too much time. I changed them to be like Moscow, Russia, so that if anyone ever did take their time to look at it, that's what they would see. But it's easier,
do you change it after the fact, or?
No, I actually went into the frame, edited it, and just left it in there because it was just a still image.
Oh so, yeah, that takes a lot more work than blurring.
Yeah, I know. It does.
The worst one is thing Amazon. I've found. I don't know if you ever go to Amazon and just say, so let's say there's a live and someone talks about a product, and you go to Amazon and you just search for it, and your at least here in the UK, your postal code appears on Amazon, right? Because you're logged in, right? And it just your default address, right? And I think you wouldn't think of that, right, as being something that obviously sensitive. If you're, I like what you do. You guys live stream and you are doing Q&A and troubleshoot, and I'm always a bit tentative of. There might be
I don't care if I can't answer it. I don't. It's that was
no, disclosing stuff about yourself.
Oh,
not answering.
I don't intentionally. I mean, early on the live streams, I used to forget. Now I drag it over here, and I'm like, let me make sure before I pull this up, there's not something in there, and I'll read through it real fast, and then I'll slide it back over, because you're doing this stuff on the fly, and someone will ask a question about your configuration, and you've got to go. I got to open Visual Studio Code over here on the side, and okay, is there? And then or
secrets file.
Yeah.
All the passwords.
Yeah.
I changed. You want to hear the funniest thing I did? I did this at work. I was on a Zoom call, and every time I log into my work stuff, it brings up the password field. Well, for some reason, this time I brought up the email field or username or whatever. I typed my password in, and everybody, and it was a recorded Zoom session, a Zoom meeting. And everybody on the first thing out of their mouth was this laughing scream at me. I'm like, and I knew what happened as soon as I did it. I'm like, it's free text password. So as soon as the call was over, I went back through and changed all my work passwords. That was fantastic.
No, that's fun.
Fortunately, that wasn't on a YouTube live stream, but it still worked. They're a little more worried about security at my workplace than.
So does everyone want to share what they do in their day job? If this isn't your full-time thing.
I couldn't live out of this. Sorry.
I wanted to be polite, right?
Okay.
Hey, before we do that, Gio, there was a question. I don't know where it kind of scrolled up.
we missed a
Oh, the
question.
ESP encryption. I don't know if anybody's messed with that yet.
Nope. Still not. Still not.
I want to.
There you go.
That's brand new as of 10. What are we at? What month is this now? 10-1 or 10x 1021. Isn't that? Didn't they just ESP
2110? Yes.
And also, I guess in the same vein, has anybody messed with Zwave JS? What is it? S2? No, Zwave S2. What is it? The security stuff now? The new version of the security? Does anybody use Z-Wave here?
I use Z-Wave. I mean, my brother was just setting up some Zoo switches. They were S2, and I just said, hey, I don't know, just turn, like, you could just change it to don't use security. So that's what I would
go with S2. Now here's the reason why. There's two reasons I do it. Number one, it's security, but I don't know if you've ever messed with these, like my locks, my door locks. They're anytime, and I talked about this before in some of my live streams. Anytime I activate those locks, let's say I put it in a sequence of automation or something. As soon as those locks fire, the whole world stops for like 10 seconds. I'm assuming it's encryption related. As soon as it gets through all its encryption and talking back and forth, then it continues on with the rest of the Z-Wave. I've never looked at the Z-Wave logs to see whether or not when that security goes on, if it's just pounding away at doing stuff in that log, because it's always a delay. So my idea with S2, or my hope with S2, is that kind of stuff will be instantaneous like everything else I do in Z-Wave. And so if you're not using S2, there's a benefit of speed for encryption, or there's a benefit for S2 encryption, but there's also supposedly a big speed up in responsiveness to the devices.
And battery life too, as I understand, right? I guess.
Because it doesn't have to do so much talking. It calms things down, so your batteries are not doing stuff. I would start with S2. I would default to that before not using it.
Well, I just recently had a weird issue because I was still running Open Z-Wave because I was planning on doing a video to migrate over to Z-Wave JS. And then all of a sudden I woke up one morning and none of my Z-Wave network worked. Like none of the devices would respond, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I just really quickly migrated over to JS, and it was super painless. And then when it was all done, I was like, oh crap, I should have recorded that.
Yep.
Because I literally just plugged in my dongle, installed the integration. It saw all of the devices. I just had to wake them up and it was good to go.
Yeah, that's I made videos and all that Z-Wave stuff, but it's there's no reason not to be on JS now at all. I mean, it just works a lot better. There's a lot more support. Things are being developed for it. It just needs to be put into the Matter standard. That's a whole nother discussion. Mm-hmm. I guess the Amber is Matter standard compliant, but you know what's funny about the Amber, which we're not going to talk about yet, but we will. I hear Joe saying
we will.
The slot. What's the slot on there that they're talking about? You being able to use the TPUs in is not compatible on the Raspberry Pi 4 or whatever that thing is running. That you can't use that, and so they had to backtrack on that deal apparently. Now that I'm saying. Yeah, like for like Coral TPU for Frigate or something like that, you can plug in those TPUs to
the MM whatever. Yeah, I know.
That slot is not compatible with those, supposedly. Now, everyone, don't go crazy. Go research it because I don't have the facts, but it was brought up to me.
Share that.
Yeah.
It's been.
By the way, I will be using or reusing parts of your video, Chris. Frigate. I don't want to. I'm not interested in covering the frigate into detail, so I'll be referencing a lot of your videos and pointing people in your direction because I will be doing a frigate on Synology virtual machine with the Synology 7, which has problems with the USB sticks with the Google Coral because people want to use Google Coral on Synology to offload image processing and Synology and I've been playing with that stick now for a month and a half, and when it works, it's awesome. Frigate is awesome. The stick is awesome. I don't see any CPU usage going up, but there is a frequent auto disconnect of the stick from the virtual machine, which means that you have to unplug it physically, plug it once again, and then 2 times add it to the virtual machine, which is something that I cannot resolve. And that's the reason I still haven't released the video, because I'm still trying to figure out if there is a way to have it work longer. It can be 2 weeks. It can be 2 weeks, but I hate doing video if I know that something will not work, because at the end people will leave comments and bash me in the comments and I will have nothing to say. Yeah.
We were talking about integrations. I was doing a video on integrating Accurite weather devices, which are basically just 433 megahertz devices, because I had a whole bunch. I need to get these into Home Assistant, and I had a little software defined radio USB stick on a box somewhere that was reading that stuff and publishing it through a Python script to MQTT. I did this whole video on showing people how to set this up, and when I got done, I was like, holy crap, this is like way too complicated for somebody to go and do unless they're a total geek like me. And so I went and built an integration for Home Assistant. And so it's out there. You can just now download an integration and plug in the radio and just have these devices go straight into Home Assistant. Well,
there goes my video.
But now I'm like doing tech support and managing code updates and everything else for that. So that's fun.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about building something like that. You've got to maintain it for long term. I did the whole ambient weather station 433 megahertz RTL thing. I got a whole video on that, but then I got EcoWit. I'm like, dang, this is so easy to plug the EcoWit sensor in and just read the same thing off of there. Also, I can read my neighbor's solar panel values from the RTL box too.
Have you guys done natural gas reading at all?
One of my future videos.
I don't have it. We don't have. We have smart stuff here in the U.S., but like the meters outside are transmitting on something. I think I can see them, but I can't decode them, or I can't really tell what they are. No, that's not true. I can see what they're coming in as on the RTL stick, but the gas meter is also a smart meter. It's a little thing that sits on the gas meter, but I don't know that where it's transmitting, or I can't decipher the codes that are coming out from the devices. I can't tell which thing is which, so I haven't really done anything with it. This whole thing, when they launched the energy portal, I wanted to be able to integrate some of that stuff, especially gas usage, because I don't track that anywhere. I got electricity monitors everywhere in my house, but I don't have any gas monitors because I have nothing that allows me to view that. So I'd love to be able to pull in some gas usage.
I will be doing the analog one. We unfortunately here do not have smart meters except for the electricity if you explicitly ask it and you get approved.
Oh.
So all the utilities, water, gas, electricity, are analog, meaning that once a month, quarter, whatever, somebody comes or you have to read
it. Yeah.
So I will be doing video on analog gas water meters. This is something that I started preparing also at the summer, but the queue for the videos is.
It's nice to have that many ideas to be able to make videos on. Some weeks I'm like, I got a video due on Thursday and it's Wednesday. What am I going to do this week?
Yeah, but the problem with those videos is that you have to spend a lot more time than those videos that I usually would like to do. For example, I still not sure what I will be doing for the video on Monday, because I release for the channel members usually video at least one day earlier. So I have to record it either tomorrow at some point or on the Monday morning to edit it on the Monday evening to have it released. And I'm still not 100%
I feel you
sure
on that one.
What I'll do.
I try to get channel members a little bit extra time on those. And, I use not YouTube. I use YouTube. I use TubeBuddy or whatever. And they kind of tell you the best time to publish and best time to live stream. I don't believe that stuff necessarily, but I do it anyway. I'm like, okay, well, this seems to work better for my schedule and what they're telling me to do. And actually I've done it a couple of weeks now. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah. But I sort of found that at least my time zone, so in 6 p.m. UK time seems to be, for me, a lot of times where a lot of videos get published at the same time, especially the UK creators. There's a few of them, apart from Paul, which Paul Libet does, was Saturday 10 a.m. in UK time at least, which for you guys are quite early, right? So yeah, I think sometimes it's frustrating because there's no smart on videos and then they all appear at the same time. And if you're a user, you're like, maybe I have time, maybe I want to watch all 4, but I just got to watch 1, right? So maybe it is worth.
It's the thumbnails. Make your thumbnails look good.
Yeah, but it's just luck, right? Because you might have one content creator just going with something hot off the press and everyone wants to watch that, and you thought of a video for a couple of months, you've been working on it, and maybe it's really
like Amber.
Unique. Oh, okay.
I
let's
don't even
talk
have an
about
amber. I
that.
can't even get an amber. I don't.
What, Lewis?
But some
Lewis.
of them got, yeah.
Well, yeah, and I'm trying to shamelessly ask sometimes. Hey, for those of us that make these videos for y'all free all the time, can I have one of those things? I just got crickets.
I did ask for the blue, I remember, but I did ask for the blue and I got no. And it was smaller than now. I mean, not that much change anyway, but yeah, I got a resounding no. I didn't even ask for amber. I didn't even try to ask. To be fair, I don't know if you've seen my video, 5 things I love and hate about amber. And because I've put amber and hate together, I think I'm like on the blacklist now. Forever, right? And in fact, if you go to the Home Assistant website and you go on the recommended, you know, like the creators that talk well about, if everyone goes and looks at that, you'll find.
I've never seen that. What is that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
If you go on the Home Assistant Amber website, and
I don't.
there are certain brands that people that recommend the product, right? And I'm like, and I obviously couldn't be on that because of the 5 hates. So
is that the Crowd Supply website, or is that their other? Oh, here we go. It's featured in. Oh, Stacy and IoT has that? Really?
No, it just says feature in. Not necessarily means they have it. They just talked about it. And
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like, oh, everything smart home's on there. But this Stacy and IoT is like a big IoT, like industrial IoT person. That's interesting that they're listed here. Anyway.
I wouldn't be listed because I don't like it.
Yeah, let's talk about it, I guess. Well, there's a couple of questions though on here. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so I think I'll open up the discussion, right? So I've said a few things I don't like about it. First of all, I thought it was quite confusing for a non-technical person, right? I mean, I got confused, and I'm an engineer, right? So I'm like, I couldn't even understand what is what. What do you need to buy? Like, there's 10 options, and you just confused me.
I was.
So that was the thing, and I don't think it looks good compared to blue. It looks like just a transparent box. It doesn't look nice.
Steampunk. You don't like steampunk?
Yeah.
But the color is like, I mean,
it's amber,
but it's like
I don't know. I'm just not.
Hey, wait a minute. Now I'm on the stream with y'all, Gio. Am I going to get blacklisted and not get one of these things? Right. So I'm talking about this stuff.
Do not tag me.
Do not tag me ever. No, listen. So there's things that I didn't like. No, because I think you know, you don't have to like everything that a company does. Like I love Apple. I don't know. I'm just saying, right? And I love a lot of stuff that they do. But this must be something they do that you don't like, right? I mean, unless you're a fanboy, that's the definition of a fanboy, is that you absolutely like everything a company or initiative does. And there are a few things I didn't like about it, and there are a few things obviously that I do like about it. But I guess who cares about me? So I mean, I might get one, maybe not, because it's coming in July 2022.
Mine said November.
December
2022.
By the time November comes in, there's going to be maybe a Home Assistant, something else, another color, coral, and we'll buy that, right? I don't know.
My biggest, and I had a couple of chats or whatever with Lewis about this on my Discord, in his video, or on something like that. Is I understand if this would be finished product that you would later on be able to buy it in a shop, you know, that for example, whatever electronics shop sells it from now on in the future, this is great product for the new users because it is supported. It will become pre-flash. It will have, as far as I understand, reset functionality to be able to recover it and get it into some basic form. It will have already Zigbee inside. So it will be perfect device for the new users. But people that are currently buying, they're not new users. They're advertising this as new user device. And if I would be a new user, and if I would, for example, want now to become a Home Assistant user, I would have to order it and wait 1 year to get the device to start with the system. I would, in the meantime, I would build rocket. I would go to the moon with Elon Musk or something. That's the problem for me. This is, I wouldn't selling it at this point as a product for new users is something that I don't believe. It can be great intermediate product for people that want to go from Raspberry Pi 3. They didn't buy the Blue or whatever. But on the one side, you have Blue customers that bought Blue, which was perfect device for running Home Assistant.
Yeah.
They said, you can keep using it, but look, now we have this new Amber shiny box. Jump on it.
Yeah, but
And
how
a lot
long
of people
did it take for Blue to come out? Did it take
We don't
a long
know.
time,
Blue was when they
Yeah,
when
but we
they
didn't know
announced-
because
when they announced it, it was out, and
Right.
this was crowdsourcing. I understand the problem. I'm in sales. I had such a great laugh. I had a client call me last week, and they said we want to buy 2 access points. I said, okay, no problem. We want them now, and I just died laughing. And he said, why? You cannot get them now. But 2, no, you cannot get them. So I have to wait like 10 days. I said, yeah, beginning of March, something like that, because you cannot get, there is a shortage of everything. And I understand that. But you cannot say, it's like telling everybody, we've released a new movie and you can go in the cinema, buy tickets and see it in a year. Come on. I will buy
you got to talk
tickets in a
about the
year.
second installment of Dune like that.
Come on, don't talk about it.
So my question with Blue though, with Amber is like, okay, what would make me want to get that over a Blue? I mean, there's not enough. I mean, the Blue is beautiful, first of all. Second of all, I mean, it's powerful enough to run whatever, Home Assistant however you want. And they acknowledge that in the live stream. Why would I buy Amber? I don't understand, especially a new user. Why would they buy Amber? And it's like, I just don't see. I mean, I don't see that. And again, like you mentioned, this long lead time. And then when you're trying to order it, it's like about 100 different options. Like either are we doing PoE or are we not doing PoE? So it's just like, it seems more for a DIY guy than a new user. That's what it seems like.
Yeah. As a sales guy, again, I'm looking at it from a sales perspective. As a sales guy, this is a perfect device, but I wouldn't sell it the way it is as idea. I mean, selling it as idea, not as a product, to audience like this. I would say, okay, guys, listen, we think that we have great product. You can, it can be upgraded later on with Raspberry Pi 5 because the boards can be interchangeable, blah, blah, blah. We guarantee you that this will be Matter compliant. You will not have problems with the drivers for the Zigbee, whatever. There are tons of ways how you can sell it to the end users, but not as a new user device. New users wouldn't know when they begin what to do with the device. Raspberry Pi W02 that got out just a couple of days ago is a good enough device for users that are starting. Raspberry Pi 3, Raspberry Pi 4. A lot of people, if you look at the statistics and analytics for the Home Assistant, Raspberry Pi 4, I think, is still the #1 operating or device that runs the Home Assistant OS. So it is a great device. It has a lot of possibilities, but it's more. I would call it like more. I would sell it more like a privilege to buy Amber. Come on, guys, we are doing one-off gig. We will make 100,000 or 50,000 or 10,000 of such devices. You can be part of it, and everything that is earned extra then production costs will be go towards the home automation development. And I would buy that as idea. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I gotta run.
Collectible.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I gotta take off. But nice talking to you guys. I'll watch the rest of the stream later.
Hey, nice to see you, Aaron. Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about Aaron now. Oh wait, he's still here.
Yeah.
All right, see you
5,
guys.
4, 3.
Thanks, Aaron.
Subscribe to your channel.
He's afraid of talking about the Amber. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I think that's fair enough.
The only thing that intrigues me about the Amber at all right now, because it's not as powerful as the Odroid that I have now. I couldn't run the stuff I want. The only reason I would get one, number one, is because, I need to make a video about it because it's the thing. It's a thing. And it's a pressure about doing that. The second thing is I don't have any Zigbee, and I don't know how many times, if you've watched my videos, I've said, oh, I need to play Zigbee. Oh, one of these days I'm going to get Zigbee. Oh, well, if I'm going to buy an Amber, the Amber's already there. I'm done. I finally bought my Zigbee device. Finally. But, I mean, is it worth it for that? Otherwise, no. And then I'm going to I've got a Raspberry Pi 4 that I do my testing with or playing with. And I've got an Odroid that's my production, which, by the way, I also do my testing with, unfortunately, sometimes. Don't recommend that. But it's just, I want it for the sake of, okay, I'm a content creator in the home assistant space. I want to use the Amber because someone's going to ask about it. And I just feel like internal pressure to make something that's part of the Home Assistant or Home space.
Do you recommend it, and for who would you recommend it? I think it's difficult to recommend something on paper. That is my point. Is for us on paper, we're really.
I don't know, but see, the thing when we talk about getting blacklisted or whatever for saying something about a product, it's hey, we mess with this stuff. I've got plenty of this is awesome, Home Assistant's awesome comments. If I come across a product that doesn't fit the bill, I should be able to say, okay, they've done a lot of work, but this one misses the mark. And I'm not saying anyone's blacklisted, but to say, okay, this isn't exactly where it should be, and it's what people do all the time in this space. People that do reviews, people that do content creation, if they can't talk about, okay, this is a great product, except here are some things that probably should be better, then there's that the product's not being true to itself. So I don't know. I mean, I would have to have one to play with it to really see what it does. I don't know where I would fit it. I can't have a third Zwave network. I mean, I don't know what to do. I don't have enough spaces. When I build my studio space, when I've got 1 million subscribers and all that stuff, and I have to have an automation in my studio. Next year. You hear that? Everyone that's subscribed, tell your friends and your friends' friends and your friends' friends, then maybe I'll make it anyway. You know what I'm saying? We should be free to be able to talk about this stuff without any kind of, issues or being able to, or not being able to, I've lost my train of thought. But, when we get review items, what basically we say is they didn't pay us. They sent us a product, but they didn't pay us for it. They don't know what I'm going to say before I say it. They have no creative ability to influence the video. So here's what it is. Here's what I think about it, that kind of thing. Right. But most of the time, the stuff that I agree to do, I pretty much know a little bit about it already. And I don't really pull in a bunch of junk. I don't get something just so I can make it look bad on camera or whatever.
That's what I did with Shelly, for example. I have every single Shelly device I did review was my purchase, meaning I didn't get a review unit. I did my own video. I did video after I've used the device for some time. And from out of 10 devices, there were 2 that I didn't like. 1 I hated and 2 I didn't like, all total. And when I was talking about the devices that I loved, I really talked because I loved those devices. They worked as they should work. And those 2 devices, especially that one, I really hated it because it didn't fulfill the basic needs that I was expecting from that type of device. And my ego was struck a bit last year, and that's why I didn't do Shelly videos for 6 months at least, because I bought a lot of Shelly devices. They featured my videos in how-to tutorials for the stuff that they're selling. So on the website, for example, for Shelly EM, if you go there and look for the instructions on how to install it in the fuse box and everything, they were my videos. And
cool.
They never approached me, which, I've seen that a lot of people receive, for example, motion sensor. I had bought mine.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
I bought mine. Mine, and I've seen that ton of people received that device that, for example, never did video or things like that. And I was a little bit, I wouldn't use nasty word, but I wasn't pleased with that at that point. And on the other hand, a couple of weeks ago, I have almost all devices that Shelly has ever produced. I have still 3 or 4 devices that I didn't record video because I simply have to figure out what's the right way to present them to people. For example, I have UV light, which was great idea for the pandemics. You can really use industrial LED board with the UV light, which is hazardous to skin. So you have to do something with that to sterilize whatever. And I just couldn't fit it in home automation market. I did have a couple of ideas, but I didn't do. So I have a couple of those devices, and they approached me and they sent me a couple of devices, but they sent it for the first time ever. Company sent them like this: would you be willing to receive 2 devices, no strings attached? Meaning you don't even have to create a video. We will send you 2 devices, and they send me those 2 new Plus devices, which unfortunately I still haven't even unboxed. They're sitting in the box because I have to put it in a schedule. But back to Amber. As I said, the only problem I currently see is positioning. And once again, I'm looking at more maybe from my professional position as a sales guy. You have to properly position a product to sell it to a group of people. Amber is potentially great device if you forget about the blue, that it even existed anymore, and that you're not compete, because you can still buy blue, or you can buy blue-like devices. You can buy the board, same board that's inside the blue without the blue box, which at the end is blue. Blue is just the blue box.
Yeah.
So
well, look at Caleb's comment on that too. I mean, he bought the blue and the amber.
And that's a good idea, and that's a great idea. And I would do the same, except my parents don't want to have that in their house. Yeah.
Right, but it just to support, like I think overall, like to support the Home Assistant ecosystem, and what it does for us, I think, is it gets manufacturers who build these things, like the Emporia View, for example. Hey, Home Assistant wants to be able to have a local API for this. They're big because they're selling all these things, or we're supporting them in a number of ways, like the blue, the amber. And so that gives credence, or gives a little bit more incentive for these manufacturers to be more of a local API, which benefits all of us, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a use case. Do I have a place to put it and use it? No, but like it, you know, like you said, positioning, right? It's all about who you're marketing this stuff to, and whether it's going to be.
But they did really well, right? To be fair, I mean, they smashed their goal.
Oh yeah,
probably
yeah,
like you say,
they did great. They did great.
They sold to their existing user base, which probably already had either one or two Home Assistant devices anyway, and they were just more curious. So I don't know how many new customers they actually got that don't have Home Assistant. They just went and bought this crowdsourced device that will come in 6-9 months. I don't know, Jeff. What do you think? I know. Are you getting an amber? That's why you're quiet.
I did buy an amber, and I have a blue. And I mean, what I liked about it on paper was that you could upgrade it compared to like the Odroid. Would be a little more difficult, I think, to upgrade. But I saw it as they were trying to answer some of the negative comments about blue, and the fact that like blue shipped with no Z-Wave or Zigbee support. So you got a device and you still had to install those integrations. And at that time, that was still a pain in the butt. Now, like I was just on the test box, I was getting ready to do a video and plugged in one of those Nortec dual USB Zigbee dongles, and it just popped up and was like, "You want to install these integrations?" And
yeah, that's a new HA, right? Yeah. It'll do it just right out of the box for you.
So with that, like, does it need to have Zigbee built into it? Because now it's gotten super easy. You don't have to like go find an integration. Like Home Assistant is kind of guiding you through that process already. So I don't know. I
think, see, it's interesting because this is like twofold, right? If you're talking about, and they're pushing this as being part of the Matter standard compatible. Matter is going to be for consumers, and look at, I'm watching these comments. See, like Sebastian says, Amber is an option from and for nerds, right? But their marketing, if you think about the Matter standard, most consumers have no clue what that means. All they know is they're going to be able to go to the store and they're going to buy a product, and it's going to work with any of the smart systems, right? Home Assistant's another smart system. So that's a marketing towards general consumers for Matter, having that Zigbee on board. I mean, that's the only benefit. I mean, Z-Wave to me is better than Zigbee, but that's just because I've been on Z-Wave for a long time. And Z-Wave, I don't have any of it. It could be opposite if I were just Z-Wave or Zigbee only. But having that on board, that was enticing to me because I wanted a Zigbee device. But am I going to buy one just to have Zigbee? I should just buy a dual stick like you have. Yeah, it just we're going in circles on this, or I am. But I don't really, having the Zigbee and having it on a module on the board versus having the ability to, I mean, you're still putting everything on one device. Like if that device fails, you've now got my Z-Wave stuff's on my USB stick. All the configuration, I can plug it in another device and everything's there because it ties it to the stick. I don't know if Zigbee's the same way, but if your Amber fails, your thing's integrated on the board. I mean, what do you do? You got to buy a whole nother device to make anything work. You can't get back up and running quickly.
Yeah, Zigbee devices have no allegiance to a radio. So.
Oh, really? So you can it's just configuration based only?
Yes, you could literally just restart the pairing process and pair it with a different radio, and then it just won't work with the original radio. But it's a pain in the butt to go back through and redo all of your Zigbee devices if something happens.
So do you need to like repair them, Jeff?
Yeah, every time I don't know if there's an easier way to do it. Every time I've had to repair them all, like,
oh man,
but not everything. That it also changed depending on the firmware you have. I know that when it started, for example, Zigbee to MQTT, if I'm looking for the firmwares for the coordinators prior to version something, each update flashing of the new firmware required you to repair all devices, and from some version of the firmware, they allow you to keep all the device settings and pairings even if you flash the firmware. So something did change that, but I'm not too technical to go.
That's a great improvement. Yeah.
And I think,
shall we go for some comments, Jeff? Go finish this one and we'll go for some comments.
I think if you're going from like Zigbee, if you're moving your Zigbee MQTT and switching out the radio, that probably works. If you're having to move between integrations or something like that, I played around with the Sonoff board. I went from my Zigbee dongle to the Sonoff version to see if it was better. Had to repair all of my devices, and then ran into some issues. Had to repair all of my devices. That was literally like a weekend of repairing devices. But I got really good at it. I can do it really fast now. In less than an hour, I can repair my 30-something.
Should make a video about that. All right, so just get a pickup for anyone that is live. Thank you for watching. We're still going until we've got energy to go. But remember,
or the wife says it's time to get off and go do something else, which is going to be happening soon. She won't tell me that, but
that's always the gentle nudge might come. But yeah, just a gentle reminder to subscribe or like and go and check these other guys' videos, which they're really good.
If we're not banned.
We might all disappear because we criticize YouTube.
What's that black van out in front of my house right now?
I know your Wi-Fi password, Chris, right?
Right.
Oh yeah, he's using my free Wi-Fi I let him have on the YouTube channel. Nice.
So drop a comment down below now. We're just going to go quickly through some comments and we'll go back onto another hot topic, which we've got coming up next, which will be Node-RED and Home Assistant.
I want to talk about that. So let's talk about that quick after our comments, because I will have to jump pretty soon.
That's right. Let's
me too. I will have to go pick up my daughters. I have time limit. Yeah.
Nice. So let's run. Should we do? Everyone got another 20 minutes. So let's go 5 minutes of comments, and then we'll go through it. Yeah.
Yeah, give or take, maybe a little bit. But let's go to this comment real quick.
Cool.
You can read it, or
yeah. No, if anyone knows, everyone can see it. So I haven't got personal experience with.
I didn't know they even had for the smart speakers, I guess, to talk to Nabukasa. Do I have that even on?
I might not.
I don't know that I have two-factor on Google stuff.
Maybe we should not say that.
I think I use 3-factor.
Ooh, okay. Fair enough.
I have my own firewall at Google. To the answer to the question, no, I haven't tried that, so I don't know. In fact, I have Amazon speakers. I have one of the Googles, which I like better, by the way. I just don't have them, and I haven't figured out whether it's cost effective to replace all the other ones with the Google ones. But I like the voice quality and stuff of those better.
Cool.
But I haven't had any issues with the one I do have, but I don't have 2-factor.
No, me too. I do have 2-factor, but to be honest, I'm paying Nabukasa just to give support. And I promise to myself, I will never do anything that will use any percentage of the CPU power I'm paying. I want that money to go towards the Nabukasa support, Home Assistant development. So I'm really just paying Nabukasa monthly subscription, and I'm sad that you cannot get multiple or give. That's something that I try to get the answer on how to be able to give somebody subscription. I wanted to pay somebody a year in advance. Here, use Nabukasa. But on the other hand, I want this to be given to support the project.
Because we're getting the dollar exchange rate hit. I don't know, Alice, we're getting it because we're not in dollars, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, forget it. I think, Chris, next one is for you. Frigate.
What is double take? I see. This is what I do on my live stream. When someone asks me a question like that, I have to go look up what double take is.
We'll come back to it then, yeah, while you look into it, yeah.
It's some kind of song, according to
Yeah, it looks like some dude sings something there. Definition. It's a film. It's got lyrics. Yeah, Rotten Tomato.
Unified UI and API for processing and training images for facial recognition. There is something on the GitHub.
Say that one more time.
It's unified UI and API for processing and training images for facial recognition. It's on GitHub.
Oh, I've actually clicked on this before. I wonder. Oh, for facial. No, I haven't. But you know what? That might be a video coming up. Oh, look,
guys,
check it out. So forget.
Unfortunately, I have to run. I have to take the dog out, and I have to pick up my daughter at the midnight because midnight is approaching here.
Doesn't that boyfriend you told us she had doesn't bring her home?
He's probably watching on the live stream. You could just tell him.
Thanks for coming.
It was really fun, guys. Thanks.
It was a pleasure.
Bye.
Easy.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to do, but I'm looking here at this, and I haven't tried it, but so I on Blue Iris and DeepStack facial recognition never really, it didn't work right. I never got it to actually recognize it would see a face, but it wouldn't tell me who it was. So I might want to play with double take. I'm going to put that on my YouTube ideas list here. So the answer for me is no, but it looks like it has an integration with Frigate. So, and Home Assistant, it's all here. I just need to go mess with it and add it to my Frigate video series. So,
I would love like a Frigate one. I like once you got to the end and it's all working, do another video from the beginning. I don't know.
Yeah, I need to make what do they call those? I need to make a movie out of it. Like I'm going to make it. I've got these like 20-minute series. I need to go ahead and make a full video.
I think you should make like a course, like because I want to use it, but I'm waiting until you finish with it, and then I just want it working. But
he wants to binge. He wants to binge it.
I want to binge it. Like the whole. I'm waiting for the series to complete. Once it's complete.
Well, I'm in talks with Netflix to get that Frigate thing up there so you can watch it on Netflix. Yeah, I mean, it is a binge-worthy show.
It's cool. It's in my like watch list because I really want to watch it, take notes, because I think I want to try and do it myself, which I think will be cool.
You know what's interesting about making those Frigate videos is when I was recording things, depending on the time of day, I was doing the actual recording and having the cameras up, making sure that the neighbors' kids weren't walking in front of the frames. And like, if you saw a person out there, it wasn't someone I had to go contact and say, hey, you're going to be on TV. Do you mind? And sign my waiver. I mean, I just had to be really careful about it. Those things are always kind of, for me, are kind of iffy because I don't want to put somebody else's kid or whatever on TV by accident.
Yeah. That's
so anyway.
We got a nice shout out from Mr. Semler, which is saying hi. I don't know if you're you're still there, but hi, thanks. Well, let's skip a few.
Oh, Nuno gave us a follow. Awesome. Oh, I'm getting ahead of you. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's all right.
NVMe and PoE. The PoE is one that is something that is something nice, right? I power some of my switches off of PoE because that way all of my UPS stuff is in one closet and this stuff is powered off. Even if it's in a different room in the house, if it's on the network and PoE capable, it's powered. That does make that nice. Now, that's a plus for Amber.
I mean, especially
go ahead.
Especially for like a Zigbee radio that you want in the center of your house and not in a closet upstairs or, plugged into the network someplace. So yeah, the power over Ethernet means you can put it wherever you need that radio to be, which is nice.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of PoE, but I understood that the base version or the one that they were selling doesn't have it. Like not all of the versions of Amber have PoE, right? Yeah,
they don't. Right? They don't all. Yeah.
Oh, is that's the thing where you have to buy the right option to get it?
But it's the geeky option. Like it's the most difficult option. It's not the one that's built in that has PoE. It's the other one. You can see how much research I've done on this.
It's actually cheaper than the
it's cheaper than the other one. Yeah, but it's not for consumers, right? I mean, like because PoE consumers would love it. if they had it on, because it's just one cable instead of two. Everyone loves that.
I'm texting my wife. She's in the house. I'm texting her, asking her about 10 more minutes or whatever.
Robin, it's still too slow for me. And I have a lot of ESPHOME devices, quite a lot of compile. Oh, I'm losing track then. Which was this from Robin? Do you guys remember?
Yeah, what was the question?
It's still too slow for me when I have.
Yeah, so he's talking about like the Amber, like trying to run stuff on the Amber. Does he have an Amber?
ESPHOME devices.
He's talking about ESPHOME in general. Yeah,
ESPHOME devices. I think.
Why would we do a lot of compiling with every? Well, I guess how many does he have? Would be the question.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Last night then, yeah.
I've got 4 or 5, but just I don't. I mean, I could have more, but I have some Tasmota stuff, and I have everything else. I guess compiling. It depends what you're compiling on too. The video that I'm going to drop tomorrow is an ESP video.
Oh.
Buy your own compute module. That's why it's cheaper. Oh, yeah. See that there you have to
for the subscribe for the follow for everyone. Anyway.
So let's in the next few minutes that we have, right? I'm curious what your question about Node-RED is going to be.
Well, I think it's just you guys on two ends of the spectrums, right? So as far as I understand, Jeff, you're super into scripts and you do everything in Home Assistant, right? Not touched Node-RED yet.
Yep, I haven't touched Node-RED.
And I know, Chris, you're sort of huge Node-RED fan. You've got both running, right?
Yes, I do.
But you use Node-RED a lot, right? So, yeah.
So, I mean, one of the things one of the reasons we did Node-RED before is because this was back before Home Assistant it was just hard. Maybe Jeff has done this stuff that I'm talking about, but trying to do things where, okay, if this happens, then start a timer, wait so many minutes, do it again, then loop and keep doing this thing until it's all done. I wrote that originally in a YAML file in an automation before the UI was out. And I did it and I tested it and it took me a long time to do it. Maybe I'm not smart, but it did. And then I went to Node-RED and I said, boom, no, boom, boom, and we'll add a timer and we're done. And for me, I'm visual, right? I like to look at that stuff in a visual thing. And I mean, if you look at my Node-RED stuff, you'll see just all this visual stuff. When you go into my automations, you can look at the automation and you're like, okay, now I need to go figure out what that did. One of the big things I do, and this is probably super easy in automations now, but in the holiday season, I turn on I turn on the front porch lights at sunset in the non-holiday season, and it's a connector from one Node-RED node to another. Whenever it's holiday season, I break that connector and I drag it over to the holiday lighting box, which is just a switch, right? Yeah. Now that thing runs, and then I drag the couple other spots where it turns off that stuff at midnight. So the holiday lights go off at midnight and whatnot, and turns the stuff back on. Now I can visually see the path. Okay, now I know that this is the holiday path I'm taking or whatnot. You can do this stuff all in scripts and stuff as well, but you've got to go in there and find the piece of code or create two automations, turn one off that's not holiday and turn one on that's holiday. That's probably even simpler than the Node-RED. But visually speaking, I can see all this stuff going on. When my alarm system disarms, I have a switch that then goes through and does a ton of things. And I can see all those things and what it's doing. If I remove a node or remove a Zwave component or a component in Home Assistant, I either disable that path or I just delete the node. And it's just simple to see, okay, now in my screen, on my flow, I have all this Node-RED stuff and I can see exactly what it's doing. So visually speaking, that is, for me, better. And again, I did most of my Node-RED. And in fact, I hadn't turned it on in a couple of months. The other day, I was looking at something for the holiday and I forgot, hey, I haven't even messed with this. It's just been running without problem for months. And so nowadays you can build a lot of this in the UI. So it's not as necessary. A lot of the conditional stuff you can do in the automations right from the UI that were stuff you had to do within the YAML stuff before. So yeah, I love it. I love the visual aspect of it. I love playing with it. Can I do it in automation? Probably in YAML or in the UI. Yeah, probably now, but I don't want to go back and recreate that stuff.
Yeah, that's Jeff. What about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably my number one comment I get on my videos is you need to get into Node-RED. But I hadn't really seen a reason to at this point. But I have built a lot of that conditional stuff already into the automations or into scripts. And I use scripts like almost like methods or functions in programming that have a specific task. Like there's one that just plays local audio. And all I have to do is every time I want to play something local, like an MP3, I just have to call the script, pass it what speaker I want it, the volume, and a path to a thing. And it handles like all of the other stuff. I don't have to remember to do the media player stuff because it's all just built in there.
Yeah, but when you want to modify that, how do you, I mean, you probably don't do that as much, but when you do, you have to go figure out where that thing is going.
Yeah, I have to go to the script, but then I've got everything in like split out in packages. So all of my audio stuff is in a package and I know what file to go to find that. But then it gets complicated showing it on YouTube because it's like, DLLs and old programming and like you're going through, okay, well, this automation now calls this script, which then calls a different script, which then calls a different script. And we have to like go through all of this to get to that. But yeah, I mean, at some point I think I'm going to try Node-RED and see what it does for me. There's definitely things in there. Like my brother wanted to get all of his Google events from the Google integration in an email or in a notification in Home Assistant. And the built-in integration doesn't see the whole day's events at one time. It just sees the next one. And he went to Node-RED and was able to like read his email and parse that and put that into Home Assistant. And I was sitting there trying to think through how I would do that in Home Assistant with automations. And I was like, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, because the advantage I see with Node-RED is that you have exactly the message. So you have a message coming through and you can work with the message and you can do several things with it. So you can read parts. So if you have it, I don't know how familiar with JSON messages, but if you see a JSON message, you can take a part of the JSON and store it in a context variable, and then you can reference it in other places. So I think Node-RED is much more powerful than Home Assistant. Well,
it's designed as an automation language. That's what it's for.
It's like hands down. The only argument is for someone new, is it easier just for them to just do the Home Assistant, automations? That's good enough. I think
it really depends on. I think that's a use case scenario, right? Like I'm trying to think of like if I go into, and I could share this, but I'm not going to try to do this on this screen. But I could take over my picture and show. But
could you point? Because Node-RED's standing outside of Home Assistant, right? Like it's its own container.
It's its own container, yes.
Would you be able to connect like Google Home to trigger Node-RED automations in some way?
So Node-RED has connectors to all kinds of business everywhere. Like Home Assistant's just a thing that it can connect to. So you potentially can, yes.
Because the one use case that I keep trying to solve is like what happens to all of my automations if Home Assistant goes down. And I live in a house with Amazon Echoes and Google Homes that are platforms in themselves. And it's like, it'd be nice to have something, where Node-RED could go, okay, if I got this trigger from Home Assistant, do this automation. But if it never came, use this trigger from Google Home to kick off this automation, or, build a chain of like just connectivity so that nothing ever takes the home automation down.
One of the things about doing that kind of thing, and I just do a quick, Google search, but one of the things, there's a Node-RED Google Home contribution. I hope I'm not triggering everyone's speakers when I say this. The set of nodes allow Node-RED to act as an endpoint for the Google Smart Home action. So you just add this Google Home. Yeah, you'll need an account. It says Google account here. What is this account? You need a Node-RED Google Assistant bridge. And then you can do all this stuff with it. So yeah, there are ways to integrate, and because Node-RED is not a Home Assistant thing, you can certainly pull in other stuff to it, and then you can tie Home Assistant into it. So you can actually take your Home Assistant. If you call something on your Google stuff, you can get a state from something in Home Assistant and say and compare it. Did I get that state? If so, go down this path. If I didn't, then I'm going to do it this way or something like that. You start building the logic in your mind and start playing around with it. But visually speaking, now you're just enabling or disabling nodes in your flow and saying, okay, I'm going to try this. And then you can do cool stuff like do an injection and see how it works without actually having to do the actual trigger of whatever the device is. I mean, there's a lot of troubleshooting stuff you can do within Node-RED as well. But we got some comments coming on here as well.
Let's check them out. I didn't want to interrupt the flow.
And this is going to be my last go round because I'm going to have to. I didn't get a response on the 10 more minutes. I don't know if that's a good thing or maybe hopefully she's taking a nap, but anyway. Right. So what I can do with my dashboard is I can see that the kids are watching YouTube downstairs. Not me, probably. But that means they're not bothering my wife. That's always a good thing.
That's fine. That's fair enough.
They're watching some other smart home YouTuber.
Yeah, I go down there and I start blocking stuff from like other channels. I'm like, why are you watching that guy? Anyway, they subscribe to my channel. They tell their junior or their elementary school kids to subscribe.
Yes, it's mine.
Oh, that's cool.
I see this comment here. What about EspHOME? Still a high threshold for beginners? Is EspHOME a future safe? They integrated it into Home Assistant. I mean, they own it. Home Assistant does. So if you're saying future safe device, I would say it's every much as part of the HI ecosystem as anything else is now. Just like Tuya. I think Tuya is getting that way too. But EspHOME, yes.
They're going to be buying Tuya. Is that?
Well, Frank just went crazy with a bunch of Tuya stuff. I don't know what. He came out of some sort of surgery and went and bought a whole bunch of Tuya stuff and started building things.
I think there must be. Okay, I'm not going to say anything more because I'm going to.
There was some stuff about Tuya, but I don't remember what it was. But in terms of EspHOME, the developers, the Nabu Casa subscription pays for EspHOME developers now, along with HA core stuff. So if you support Home Assistant via the only way I know of, which is Nabu Casa, that money goes towards these developers that build the core stuff and also now EspHOME. So it's definitely safe in terms of an HA system, HA supported stuff.
Right, cool. So Gunnar says, I love also the visual stuff in Node-RED, but I have some problems with conditional stuff like and or all functions.
That's a whole video. We need examples on that. But Gunnar, all I guess I don't know. Jeff, do you have like our names disappeared?
Chris is the Node-RED expert, evidently, on this.
Yeah, I was going to say. Oh well, in that case, yeah, yeah. So hit me up on Discord. My Discord's on my channel, and I'll answer any questions you have when I have time, obviously. But we need details on that kind of stuff. And then Robin, keep going here.
Keep going.
I know. I feel this pressure, like I got to get off. Someone to come up screaming at me and just kidding. They won't do that. Yeah, dynamic automations with Node-RED. I
don't know. What do you mean dynamic?
If A happens, then do B. It probably is what they're talking about.
Yeah, the choose action that they added to the stuff, whatever, like earlier this year, like made that a breeze. Like almost every one of my automations now has the choose action, which has a whole bunch of steps in it. So
yeah, it didn't used to be that way. Yeah, that's a newish thing. And it does make it a lot better. I think I did a couple of videos on, hey, how can I, or at least one video on what can I make my automation run in Node-RED as easy or in HA as easy as Node-RED, and it was pretty simple. I mean, really simple.
I actually did a loop yesterday, so I'm gonna give you guys some insider knowledge. So today we did a gender reveal party, which I don't know if you know what that is, but basically we find out. Yeah,
that's where you blow yourself in the face with some sort of stuff or not losing an eye or
we
something.
We had a cake, right? And we cut it and we found out what we were having, a boy or girl, right? And I had this light looping. So I wanted to loop my lights in the kitchen from blue and pink every 30 seconds. And it wanted to be an indefinite loop because I could find it. I just wanted to loop for the whole party, right? And phase in, phase out. And I tried to do it with Home Assistant. I thought, well, Node-RED is going to be super easy. But let me try and do it with Home Assistant if I can do it. Then sort of one of the new options, I think you can sort of do it doing the loop, but I use like an input boolean. So I did, I said until the input boolean is true, so until I'm in party mode, keep looping. And as soon as I turned the party mode off, so I had it on my phone, and then I just turned it off. And another cool thing that I did was like I triggered the script from the dashboard. So when we found out if it was a boy or girl, we triggered it, and then that shot the lights change colors, and they fixed, and then the playlist started singing depending on what it was. That could be videos coming out soon. I don't know if anyone
might be a video.
It might be a video.
I get 10 views. Those are one of the videos that like I would enjoy doing. You guys might find interesting, but like no one else does.
I have a few videos where like, oh man, I worked on that video and there's like 5 viewers. Or like, how did Geo get 10,000 views on that thing? And no one even cares about this.
That's right.
That's me and my review videos, and I've got 3 of them.
Oh, review videos suck. I mean, people don't watch those things.
Yeah, so I have 3 of them that I was working on filming today that I need to get out because it's been way too long. And I'm like, I'm going to have to put other videos in between this just to keep the momentum because they never do well.
All right, guys, I got to jump because, BeardedTinker is listening to us. What can we say about him? Anyway, I got to jump off. It's 5 o'clock here in the evening, and although not as late as it is for some of y'all, I do need to get down to do some family stuff and then all that jazz. This was fantastic. I love this. These folks that do these weekly like roundtables, I get now why it's so much fun to do this. I would like to do this on a more regular basis.
Yeah, we should totally do this on a more regular basis.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Chris, for coming.
Yep.
Appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule, family, and everything. Shout out to everyone then.
Yep. Have a great Halloween if you do that stuff, and a great rest of your weekend everyone does weekends, hopefully. So we'll see y'all on the next one. Cheers.
Take it easy.
Hey, buddy. Okay, cool. So Robin was saying, do stuff to all entities by name or prefix.
Oh, yeah.
So that was something like what I was thinking is doing something that you can do in Node-RED. You can say if there's motion in any sensor, do X. So instead of you having to group them or having to group them or calling them out sing every time, you could do like a regex. You look for the string, the prefix, right? And you say anything starts with motion underscore or kitchen underscore. If you've got good naming convention in your entities, then you could do stuff like that with Node-RED. I think there was a cool one I saw that I wanted to do a video about was battery levels. So, if you had them all named in some sort of way, and anytime you can have one node in Node-RED that says anytime there's a battery under a certain threshold, it sends you a notification and obviously pass the device name and let's say the percentage left. Could you do that, Jeff, with one of your scripts?
Yes, you could. Like, it wouldn't be beginner friendly.
But how do you trigger it? Like in the trigger for the automation?
I'd have to look at my code because the battery one is one I've done in which I had it was a Lovelace card in which it looked at it basically looked at all entities and then found them with a specific, used the search function, and it had to find them with a certain like battery in the name, and then check their levels, and then could provide like the entity ID and the level. So there was like, you could write it out in Jinja, the whole little code for looping through all of your entities and finding specific ones. But it was not, I think that's the closest you're going to get. It wasn't super, I don't think you could write a trigger like that. So.
That's a cool one, because that super simplifies. Not only simplifies everything, it sort of makes it scalable. So if you were to go to someone else's house and install Home Assistant, the only effort you would need to do was just prefix everything, prefix all the entities, integrate, prefix the entities, and you could have like a vanilla template. So I was thinking with the stuff you were doing with Jarvis, right? It's like, how can you take that and make it like a bit of like an API call? So you have it in a way that you pass on the message, or you create your own messages, and then you can reuse it, and you can then that can become big, right? Because then you can scale it, and many other people can use it.
Well, that's one of those things that I wish we had blueprints for scripts.
Yeah.
Since that whole setup is primarily driven by scripts, it would be nice to have
Yeah.
blueprints, because then it could just be like, download the blueprint and just put your media players in here, pick your text to speech service, and then the rest of it's like good to go. But I was thinking that if I do a Node-RED video, I would try to take one of those like really complex things and build it all out in Node-RED and be like, this is what it looks like in Home Assistant and this is what it looks like in Node-RED. But
yeah, I mean that would be good. But yeah, there's the I think top credit for the scripts, for the scripts that you have. I'm missing some comments. Let me see.
Yeah, the
Robin, I have Node-RED automation informs me when devices are unavailable or unknown, and I can exclude devices that go unavailable as part of the behavior. We are to do it. That's a good one. So you could get a notification, for example, if one of your devices disconnects, which would be good, like with the Zigbee, for example, for me. Maybe sometimes the device disconnects, you forget about it.
Yeah, this is one that I've been trying to solve completely in Home Assistant, and it's more of trying to find all of the devices that have been orphaned. You know, all of those devices and automations and things that are like orphaned, and they're sitting there that you have to go in and manually delete. So I've been trying to figure out how can I isolate all of those in Home Assistant, and then it'd be really nice if I could just automatically remove them, but we don't have access to that. But I've gotten pretty close to that in Home Assistant, I think, with unavailable at least. So it's not it's not easy though.
Fair enough. Cool. So we have Sebastian saying, yeah, you definitely have to do it on a regular basis. Yeah, I love it. I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. I think I think probably 5 is a good number. Because I think if we did like, I know I can invite up to 10, but this would need strong moderating maybe.
Oh yeah, like 10 people in here would be crazy.
It would be crazy, but it's quite good fun. And
yeah,
we might have it more that people dip in, dip out. Maybe we start earlier next time. I don't know, depending on people, and then we just see.
Should definitely do it. We should do like I don't know. We should do one closer to the holidays so we can talk through like holiday automations and stuff like that too. Like that'd be cool to just see like what's everybody automating type stuff. So
that's right. That would be great.
Yeah.
Yes, I think don't worry. If we're not going to be blocked or banned, we will be invited soon.
Yeah, BeardedTinker, you'll have a spot as long as you don't shave the beard. Because then, what would we call you?
Just Tinker. I wondered about that. Tinker, I didn't ask you. Like, what happens? Yeah, we'll keep your question for the next one.
Yeah.
Great shout out for you, Jeff. JavaScripts would be on my level. I found it easy to copy and paste and change, but change other entities to make them work for me, and that's very good. Can you copy and paste someone else's? That's an interesting point. So what you can do is you can export and you can import. So if you export the code, it's really, you can't really read it and make sense of it. You need to just take it again and re-import it. And once you import in Node-RED, you basically see all the nodes again. So you're literally doing a copy and paste, which you can do, which is very useful because I do that. Basically, if you look at a lot of blogs on Node-RED, you will see a screenshot of the node and then just a paste, a code snippet, and then pick it up and close it. So you can potentially source control it. That was one thing that I didn't know about it. You can also source control your Node-RED nodes, which is for me is a crucial one because if you want to revert your status.
So I like that because that's another question I get a lot is like, where do I paste this in my configuration? And it's hard on mine because everything's split out everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, then that would be nice because then you could just like do something. You could build an automation and then just export it and be like, here, you could download this and import it to your Node-RED, and
that's right.
Be ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, I might make a huge mistake, but I think they're JSON. I'm pretty sure they're JSON files that you import.
Nice.
But I'm happy to be corrected by anyone I'm just trying to check now because I'm confused because let's see. Oh, Mr. Singer. Oh, that'll be nice. Please consider it. It's awesome. Any love you give to this video, I think everyone will thoroughly enjoy. So yeah, so you can actually, you've also got some examples you could import as nodes, but yeah, they are JSON files. Nice. Right, thanks for tuning in. I think we're also ramping down, Jeff. Yeah, so we will. I think it's going to be time to say goodbye to everyone. It's getting late for me. I had a long day, an eventful day, and I closed it in a very. We're having a lot of fun, really. So next video, when is it coming out, Jeff?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Like I tried, so like the last video I did, I tried to do it differently. I tried to record my voiceover and the screen capture at the same time with no script. So I literally like just was like going through, I was like, this is what I need to talk about this. I'm going to do it. And like, it was bad. Like it was just, I was like, cause most of my stuff is totally scripted. Like everything you hear me say on a video, I like wrote out in a script.
It's polished.
Yeah. So it's probably been gone over a couple of times. And even then still I'll record it and then be like, I don't like how that ended up. So I'm going to re-record it. But yeah, so I've got 3. And so I spent today shooting video and writing scripts for 3 review videos. So I've got like a robot vacuum, some SwitchBot stuff, and that EasyViz 360 cam that's coming out. But at the same time, like I want to do some stuff on the Google Home, and there was something else that I was just like, I'm going to do a video on that. And now I can't even remember what it was, but that's how it goes. I need to speed up my production, right? So
I have speeded up my production, but you'll find that your quality will also drop. I don't think there's a way to speed up your production without dropping the quality at least a bit.
Yeah, I tried the 2 videos a week for a while and couldn't keep up with that. And then at one point I was like ahead. I had like 4 or 5 videos shot, edited, like in YouTube, ready to go. And then I like procrastinated for like 4 weeks and then blew through my lead and then
drop behind again.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, guys, remember to really look at everyone else's channel, subscribe to this one, and everyone's like this video. And we're trying to build a community here. We're not competitors. SwitchBot to BeardedTinker. Yeah, you know what?
Yep.
You know what? I have to confess, I have some SwitchBot devices.
Yes, see? Look at that. They must have hit us all up.
Yeah, I think they just blast us at the same time.
Yep.
But I'm not really seeing it now. So you guys can go ahead first. I will do it later. Because I figured out that when, we all do the same video at the same time. It's not the great really for views or for people, right? You see the 5th time to see the same what was it? The recent one? The blind? I'm not going to say the vendor, but there was a blind that like 5 people reviewed at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know that I saw that one.
There was one or one other one. I don't know. Anyway, so just drop a comment to say hi. Even if you don't have, or if you do have a question, I'm pretty sure someone might come in the comments later on and answer it. But it's been a pleasure catching you guys all. Sebastian, have a great day. Thanks for joining, all day, all night. I don't know what time it is. And Robin, it was a pleasure to catch you. Cool, Jeff.
Yep.
It's time to say goodbye. Next time, right?
Right, next time.
Stay in touch.
Yep. Take it easy, sir.
Namaste.
Yep. Right on.
See you in the next one.